Welcome back to the Maybe a Sir podcast. Today we welcome back Fortinet Cup champion Michael Brennan. Just finished closing off one of the best seasons in PGA Tour America's history with 3 wins and 12 top 10s and 16 starts. Michael, good to see you. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me back again.
We're recording this on Sunday night, so I got to ask, how did the fantasy football matchup go today?
I'm in 4 leagues, which is way too many for me. Definitely overextending, but I know I've got 2 locked up. One of them is dependent on the Bills defense tonight. The fantasy predictor gives me it's pretty much 50-50.
Yeah,
I've lost one, so hoping for a 3-in-1 week, which would be great. But
nice.
our guy Bill
Yeah,
played great today, and unfortunately, I had him on my bench in 2 leagues because he just kind of, I don't know, hadn't done a whole lot the last couple weeks.
yeah.
But it seems like he's maybe getting some more carries.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, nice win by the Commanders on the road. And
Yeah,
what do you have? He had like 150 total yards, I think, receiving.
111 rushing, 39 receiving, 2
Yeah,
tutties. He had a
yeah.
fumble, but I mean, kind of didn't matter.
I had him in a prop bet with a few other. I had anytime touchdown and like over 60 yards rushing combined with a few other prop bets, but those bets didn't come through.
Oh,
But got to keep on playing Bill.
yeah,
Love Bill. That's good.
definitely high on him. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll discuss your season on PGA Tour Americas a little later, but you just spent 3 months up here in Canada playing PGA Tour Americas. So I figured we'd warm up with some uniquely Canadian questions to start with.
Okay.
So I'm sure you came across a Tim Hortons in your travels from time to time. They're kind of everywhere. So need to know, what was Michael Brennan's Tim Hortons order?
Sorry, you just cut out there for 1 second. Do you mind repeating that question?
Yeah. Yeah. You had to come across a Tim Hortons in your travels. I need to know, what was Michael Brennan's Tim Hortons order?
Yeah, I got the almost exclusively the bacon farmer's wrap. Sometimes I'd go
Nice.
with the sausage and bacon, but it was pretty much always the bacon farmer's wrap. It was so good. When you get that like Chipotle mayo sauce in there,
Yeah.
it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Tim Hortons. We'd go like tournament if the course didn't have a great breakfast or hotel or something, we'd always go to Tim Hortons.
So occasionally you'll double stack it, I think is what they call that. Where you
Yes,
put
yeah,
both.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Occasional double stack, mostly just the bacon though.
nice. I love that. Yeah, that's my go-to as well, actually, when I'm on the road and just need something quick. Yeah. It's good
So
for
good,
sure.
super solid. Yeah, I wish we had more Tim Hortons in the States.
Yeah. Is the menu still the same? Do they offer that in?
I don't know. I haven't been to a Tim Hortons in the
Oh,
States. I know
okay.
they have a few
Yeah.
in like Michigan, upstate New York, but there are none in Virginia. So
All
I
right.
haven't seen one.
So dinner time. There's always, the chain of restaurants in Canada. You got Earl's, you got Moxie's, you got Joey restaurants. I'm sure you guys went to all those. If you were to rank those 1 through 3, what's your ranking on those restaurants?
Yeah, I'm kind of all for easy, and so when we're on the road and I'd always look out for one of those 3 just because they're consistent and you know what you're going to get from them.
Yeah.
So we ate at them quite a bit, and I think probably Joey's first, and then
Okay.
Earl's, and then Moxie's is kind of I think where I would go.
Yeah.
Earl's has a really nice spinach artichoke starter,
Yeah.
and for that reason, I don't know. It's pushing Joey for number 1, but I think Moxie's is definitely 3.
What's your order at Joey then?
A chicken parm.
Nice.
It's got they've got little peppers. It's got a little kick to it. It's not really like a standard chicken parm, but I liked it a lot.
What was your favorite golf course on the Canadian swing? And you can include Brainerd, I guess, as well, if you want to.
Yeah, Brennan was a good course. I thought the Heathlands course at TPC Toronto was really good. I loved the North course too. We played the Tour Championship there last year. That course is awesome, but the Heathlands course was also great. I mean, just in such good shape. The facilities out there are really, really good as well. I thought the Tour Championship course, Morgan Creek, was good as well. I mean, the greens were amazing, rolled
Okay.
super, super well.
Yep.
It was a little bit like through a community, but the houses were really, for the most part, out of the way and not, I didn't feel like I was kind of claustrophobic from OB signs or anything like OB stakes. So
Yeah,
it was still good. It was beautiful. I mean, got some beautiful views of the mountains, which is
for
cool,
sure.
which is really cool. The course we played in Ottawa, Eagle Creek, I thought was pretty solid as well. Great shape. I
Yeah,
mean, for the most part, I was impressed with the condition of the courses this year. I thought last year they were good, but I feel like they were all kind of a little bit tidier this year.
awesome. I You didn't mention the course for the Manitoba Open, but we won't go there.
Yeah, I think Elmhurst could be a little bit better next year than Breezy Bend.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. As my home course, I definitely agree with that statement. What was your favorite city or area that you visited on the Canadian swing?
I really Fredericton, New Brunswick was kind of sneaky nice. I enjoyed it a lot more this year than I did last year, but Victoria's definitely still number one. The restaurants down there, like on the water, near the water, in the city, are unbelievable. The views are great. We got some great weather this year out there. Just kind of got everything you need or would want in a tournament, location, tournament venue, good restaurants, and
Yeah,
it was great. Yeah,
yeah, it's a beautiful
Victoria's
area.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
hard to beat for sure. What was your best experience off the course in Canada? You don't have a lot of time to do a whole lot, but I'm just curious if any experience stood out to you.
I mean, some things that we did that I really enjoyed that aren't particular to Canada was we went to a few movies while we were up there.
Yeah,
One of them was the Formula F1 movie, just with some buddies, and that was really fun. Walking around, and I just thought Victoria was beautiful, and so typically in the evenings we'd walk around downtown, overlooking the water, and that's not something I get every day. So
hmm,
definitely really beautiful change of scenery.
cool.
Outside of that, I mean, Jeff and I, my caddy, kind of we kept our head down and stayed pretty, locked into the golf and didn't really
Yeah.
do it a whole lot of exploring. But going to the movies was kind of a downtime that I really enjoyed doing.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago or last year, I guess you said you went to a CFL game, right? You went to the Blue Bomber game when you were in Winnipeg.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Yeah,
awesome. The blue, I mean, I didn't know what to expect, and it was a sold out crowd. I thought parking was going to be easier than what it was, and it wasn't too bad, but it was
right.
a bigger operation than I had expected it to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And like you were there on a nice summer night as well, so it's a good thing to do in the summertime here up in Canada is check out a CFL game, and the caliber plays pretty good. I think you mentioned like Lucky Whitehead
Yeah,
as a notable
yeah.
who some of you guys would have been familiar with. So yeah, the caliber of play is pretty good. It's just some goofy rules if you're not used to it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I was okay with all the rules. I feel like a fourth down would be helpful just to like move the ball more, score more points.
Yeah,
The game that we went to in particular, I know you get this in the NFL as well, but there just seemed to be a lot of punting.
right.
Had trouble like moving the ball a little bit.
Yeah,
And it's three downs is if you don't, if you go for a pass in the first down and it's incomplete or get stopped with the run, then
for
it's
sure.
just a weird, like it's a 2nd and 10 quick, and
Yeah.
there just happened to be a lot of punting.
Yep. Yep, definitely. Anything in Canada, like the culture or people or just like anything in general that surprised you, either like good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, the people in Canada, like, I know they're known for being very nice, but definitely held true
Awesome.
across the country.
Yeah.
Being in Quebec is really interesting. It's
Hmm.
kind of crazy to have such a really strong French population, and it's
Yeah.
kind of unexpected, I think. I mean, it's my second time there this year, so I definitely had a better grasp on what was going on. But last year we were in Quebec, went to a Tim Hortons for breakfast, and none of the employees or like two of the people who were like in line spoke English. And so
Yeah.
we had to get there was like a high school girl who could speak English, and she helped translate our order for the employees, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Like to your point, some parts it's all French, 100% French, and then
Hmm.
some they mix in English. So yeah,
Hmm.
that would be a different experience for you guys for sure. Let's shift gears back to your year this year on PGA Tour Americas. As I noted, I don't I don't think there's been too many years like the one that you had, 3 wins, 12 top tens. Your goal was to finish top 10 and get that KFT card, which is exactly what you did. Did you expect to end the year with 3 wins?
No, honestly, not really. I knew I was playing some good golf, and my goal going into the year was to get a win. And I'd started pretty nice with some decent finishes. I finished tied for third in the first event in Argentina, tied for fourth in the second event in Rio. And so I knew my play was solid. I was close. And then early in Canada, I had some pretty decent finishes. And so I was trying to just keep doing the same thing, and was hoping I would get a week where, maybe something goes your way and maybe you make a few more putts than normal and you win. And I just kind of felt like I was able to do that for 2 months almost, which was
Mm-hmm.
great. I was just playing some solid golf. And I mean, 3 wins was really, it wasn't a goal, wasn't in my mind. And I think that winning the first time definitely helped give me a bit of a better understanding about what it takes to win.
Yeah.
I felt that prior to that I was playing good golf and not winning. So winning felt like I needed perfection, like I needed to have the perfect week to win a tournament. And then after winning the first time in Windsor, I hit the ball really, really good for 72 holes. I mean, close to perfect, but
Yeah.
I kind of felt like I didn't make a ton of putts. And it kind of just maybe opened my eyes a little bit that you need to do a lot well to win a golf tournament, on any level, but to give my kind of allow myself a little more grace, not everything has to be perfect. And I felt like that definitely helped for the next 2 wins and then for the last couple finishes to finish out the year.
Yeah, for sure. The Ryder Cup just finished, as you know, and one thing that really stood out to me was Shane Lowry's comments after his singles match versus Russell Henley, and I'm interested in your take on his comments after he hit his approach to 7 feet against Russell Henley on 18. In the interview after, he was quoted as saying he turned to his caddy and said, "I have a chance to do one of the coolest things in my life, meaning make this putt versus Russell Henley to retain the cup."
Mhm.
I'm curious when you get into those pressure situations or when there's a lot on the line. Do you have a similar mindset where you're like, all right, this is fun. Like, this is what I've worked for. This is, I've worked very hard for this. I'm ready to do this. Like, let's have some fun with it. Or you try to like suppress how big of a moment it is in front of you.
Yeah, I think that's really cool what Shane said, and definitely shows his understanding of golf is extremely high. Um, and one of the reasons I don't know if he still is, but he was a top 10 player in the world this year. I sometimes get into I feel like I have a tendency to get kind of too focused and too like grindy when I'm out there in those situations. And I won't take that step back and realize the moment and recognize it like Lowry did at the Ryder Cup. But I do think that where was it? In Edmonton for the ATB Classic, I was walking down 17 with my caddy Jeff. We were just talking about how amazing it was. Like just the weather. I think we were talking about the weather, but also the environment that we were playing in, and
Yeah.
that we were fortunate enough to be in that situation where we can experience those nerves and um, just try to enjoy more, our job and what we were out there to do. And I feel like that definitely kind of helped loosen me up and allow me to swing a little more freely like I would on a Tuesday instead of getting like super tight and gritty because I was trying too hard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think that's right. And I think there's probably like an old school sports psychology where they would suggest like you don't think about the moment too much and like you're supposed to just think like, well, this is a 7 footer. I've hit this 5,000 times. Let's just go up and hit it again, right? But maybe there's a new school of thought on that.
Yeah, I mean in ATB in Edmonton as well on Saturday, I finished with 4 straight bogeys. And on 18, I hit the fairway and then kind of skanked an 8 iron into the right greenside bunker, short sided.
Yeah.
I mean, I dumped my first bunker shot. There was really no other way to explain it. I kind of not super committed, backed out of it, hit way behind the ball, left it in the bunker. I hit an okay second shot to 8 or 9 feet, and there's a scoreboard right there behind 18, and so I could see where I was at. And I was playing well earlier in the week, so I had a several shot lead going into those final 4 holes.
Mm.
And I saw that if I made my bogey putt on 18, I was going to stay in the final group on Sunday. And so for me, I kind of felt like I was maybe a little more focused into that putt, and really try to like I don't know, appreciate the moment a little bit more, and realize like
Yep.
that this putt is more important than most because it's the difference between a final group and a second to last group. And I was able to make the putt and definitely gave a little bit of a fist bump, probably more than normal for someone who just finished 4 over his last 4 holes. But I kind of felt like I was able to recognize the importance of that putt in that moment, and it felt like it meant more to me there than a 9 footer on the third hole of the day.
Yeah. Awesome. For sure. What do the next couple months look like for you? You have PGA Tour, final stage of Q School. You have that ahead of you where you could, yep, you can like leapfrog the Corn Ferry Tour for next year and go straight to the PGA Tour with the top five finish at the final stage. But other than that, what does the next few months look like for you? How are you going to stay sharp?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm really still in the process of trying to figure that out. I would love to play in some tournaments this fall. I feel like I play some of my best golf when I'm coming off of tournaments, or have a couple in a row maybe. And so for that reason, I definitely want to find a few events to play in before final stage of Q School in mid-December.
Mhm.
As of now, I really don't have anything on the schedule, but I'm still trying to figure that out. Still
Yeah.
sending out letters to some of the fall PGA Tour events to see if I would
Awesome.
be able to get an opportunity to get a sponsor invite, which would
Nice.
really mean a lot, for myself. And I know my caddy Jeff wants to get into those as well and kind of get our
Yeah.
feet wet on the big stage. But we'll see. Kind of just trying to stay a little patient, and whatever happens, happens. If I don't play in much prior to Q School, I'll go down to Florida and play in some mini tour events leading up to it.
Okay.
So try to get
Yeah.
prepared as best I can.
How do you prepare generally for courses that you haven't seen before? Are you like you and your caddy? Do you have an app that you look at, or are you like a Google Earth guy where you're kind of charting the course prior to just to get an idea of what it looks like?
Yeah. Well, I use Google Earth sometimes. My dad's a big Google Earth guy, and he always will. I mean, pretty much every time we'll look at the course on Google Earth and send me a
Yeah.
couple notes about holes that he may think could be interesting. And it's cool. You get a pretty good picture on Google Earth. Actually, it's and you can put in yardages, and how far this is from there. But I don't really use Google Earth because I use Upgame to keep track of my stats, and through the app on Upgame, they have, I mean, effectively a Google Earth. There's a plan round section of Upgame, and
Right.
it's even better than using Google Earth because I can overlay my dispersion with different clubs off the tee and into the greens and get a really good idea of kind of what clubs are going to fit on what holes. And it's easy to map out how far a bunker is away, how far a green is, from left trees to right trees, like how far of an
Yep.
area you have. And so we use Upgame a lot, Jeff and I, to plan rounds. And even on Mondays and Tuesdays when we are on the golf course, like we'll step on a tee, pull up Upgame, look at my dispersion, try to figure out like what the perfect like what my center fairway is, maybe if there's a little
Right.
bend or not. And so we get pretty anal, Jeff and I do about like what my target line is. And we'll adapt throughout the week if the wind changes or maybe it gets
Yep.
firmer as the week goes on and stuff. But Upgame is a huge help for us.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. You mentioned Jeff a few times. Curious, what's your guys' relationship? Like, how long have you guys known each other? And obviously, things are working, so it's a tried and true partnership between you guys right now.
Yeah, we've probably known each other for maybe around 3 years. We met while we were in school. We were both the same year
Okay.
at Wake Forest, graduated in 2024. And we weren't super close while we were at school. He was actually better friends with a few of my other teammates. He was in the same fraternity as one of the kids on my team.
Yep.
And so when I graduated, I was just looking for a guy to carry the bag and honestly thought it was going to be kind of more of a short term deal, just caddy for a few weeks. And that was last July, and we're still together. So we've been working together for over a year now. And he's going to do final stage with me. He'll caddy for me next year on the Corn Ferry Tour. And it's been a really good relationship. I mean, we've obviously gotten to know each other a lot better this are always rooming together, staying in hotels or Airbnb. So we spend a lot of time together when we're on the road. But yeah, he's been a real blessing for me. And, you know, as part of my team, just having someone who's there with me week in, week out, and that consistency on the Americas tour. Not everyone has a caddy that they travel with every week. It's just you know, tougher financially. But
Yeah.
Jeff has been very willing to, you know, kind of stick it out with me. And I know he believes in me and in my game. And so having that, you know, support out there on the road with me really means a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a nice partnership to have. What does your guys pre-round and post-round routine look like? Do you try to keep that as consistent as possible, like day in and
Yeah.
day out?
Yeah, absolutely. And part of that depends on kind of the situation on the course, like whether the driving range is close to the putting green, and or if they have a chipping green. You know, not all the courses we played had chipping greens. So that kind of changes my pre-round, you know, pre-tournament round routine a bit. Whether there's a good breakfast or good lunch at the course, or we're eating at Tim Hortons or the hotel. So typically, you know, say I have a 8 o'clock tea time, I'll get to the course about 2 hours ahead of time
Oh wow. Okay.
if the food is at the golf course. So we get to the course around 6. I'll eat from 6 to 6:25, 6:30, and then we'll go out to the range. I'll kind of go through some movement stuff to make sure my body's feeling well, just with some bands and some skipping and stuff like that before hitting balls. Then I'll slowly work up, start with a 50 degree, hit 9 irons, hit 7 irons, and then I'll do like kind of a 10 ball wedge combine on my TrackMan just to try to get my feels dialed for the day. Once I finish that, I'll hit 5 irons, 3 irons, 3 woods, and then drivers, and that'll finish my time on the range. Hit a couple chips, a couple bunker shots if they have it, and then finish up with some putts before heading to the tee. And all that, you know, that'll be from 6 o'clock until walking to the tee about 7 minutes before my tee time.
Awesome. I noticed in at the Manitoba Open, you guys were unable to hit drivers on the range. You could only hit them
Mhm.
into a net. Is that a
Yeah.
common occurrence, or was that unique to our event here?
Yeah, I mean, more common than I would like it, more common than I'm sure the
Yeah.
tour staff would like it, you know. That's definitely not the perfect situation, but you kind of
Uh-huh.
just have to make do with what you get.
Right.
But down in South America, 5 of the 6 courses we played at, you could not hit woods
Oh
warming
wow.
up. So, you know, a majority of the courses wouldn't allow it. And even in Canada, there were you could hit drivers in Fredericton, Bromont, could hit drivers in Toronto, couldn't in Winnipeg, you couldn't hit drivers in Victoria, you could in Surrey. So maybe there were like two or three courses in Canada, you know, where drivers weren't allowed, but 5 of them in South America.
Jeez, that's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know, not ideal, but
Yeah.
everyone's got to deal with the same thing. So
Yeah.
just try to get to the, you know, first tee or whenever you're going to hit your first driver, and try to trust it as best you can. I think it's maybe a little bit harder to not be able to find that groove per se
Uh-huh.
that
Yep.
you would on the range, just seeing the ball fly and stuff like that. But it's not a huge deal.
Yeah. In terms of equipment, are you a guy who's going to be like changing a lot of his equipment from week to week based on different turf conditions? Like for example, up here, there's obviously no Bermuda grass, but when you're going to be going down to Florida in a few months for the final stage, and there is Bermuda, are you going to be changing the grinds on your wedges or changing your setup on your driver or anything like that?
No, I really don't change much at all. The only thing I will change, I have two 60 degrees, and I'll
Okay.
switch in and out between a T grind on my Vokey 60 and then a K Star. Those are the two that I'll go between. Both are pretty low bounce. The K Star has 6 degrees of bounce, but it's a bit of a wider sole. The T
Yeah.
grind only has 4, and it's a very narrow sole. I'll determine what to use based on conditions of the bunkers. You know, really soft sand, the wider sole is nice on the T grind, or on the K Star. The T will kind of dig a lot, and it can be a little bit difficult to get cleaner contact. The firmness of the ground, the K Star is a little better off the kind of soft. or grasses where the ball sits high up on the face, so it's, easier to hit the center of the club face with the K. But if the grass is really tight, then the T sits really low, and the ball will contact the face, a little bit higher. But that's the only switch I'll make. The other 13 clubs in my bag stayed the exact same at every tournament I played in.
And remind me, what shaft do you have in your Titleist driver?
My Titleist driver, I've got a Hazardous Smoke, um, RDX Smoke Blue,
Yeah.
and it's like 70 grams, Torex, like TX stiffness. I don't know. There's like a 2.9 number on it. I don't really know what that means, but it's a Hazardous Smoke RDX Blue. I know that.
Yeah. You've obviously had that in that driver for a while, or?
For years. I've played
Really?
the same shaft
Yeah.
in my 3-wood and drive. The 3-wood is the same shaft. It's a little different length and different weight. It's heavier than
Yeah.
my driver, and it's a 3-wood shaft versus a driver shaft. But I've played that same brand, the same exact one for, I don't know exactly how long, but 3-4 years probably.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Well, don't change it. From what I've seen, it's working. And for the listeners out there, if you get a chance to see Michael hit a driver, it's a lot of fun. It's a heavy ball for sure. The ball stays hit, as they say.
Yeah. It's no, I love my equipment setup right now. I think is really good. I feel like I'm in a nice spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy with how, that shaft and my driver, how it performs, and the spins I see and stuff like that. So don't plan on changing it anytime soon.
No, I wouldn't if I were you, for sure. Must have been nice having your parents up in BC as well. Were they there for the final two events in Victoria and Surrey?
Yep. So they came out to Victoria. They were originally just going to do the final one in Surrey, but I kept telling them how beautiful Victoria was from the very first event I played in last summer. So they came out to the last two, and then my brother flew out for the weekend in Surrey, and he's in school right now, so he's busy doing other things and doesn't come out to as many of the tournaments as my parents do. So it was really awesome to have the whole family out there on Sunday in Surrey. But my mom was, in addition to being a great spotter on the course and there for support, also really nice picking out restaurants in Vancouver. So Victoria, sorry. So we ate some really great food in Victoria. Had my mom made reservations, and it was fun. It was really good having them around.
Yeah, and to add to that, it's pretty well stress free for you as well, right? It's just kind of like a victory lap, so to speak. The final two events, obviously, you wanted to win those just as much as any other week, but to have them there and for them to see your accomplishments throughout the year and hoist the Fortinet Cup, that must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, I tried my best to keep it the final 2 weeks is consistent with every other tournament week that I had played, and same amount of practice and time in the gym and whatnot. But I feel like my parents maybe enjoyed the stress freeness a little bit more than I did, maybe. But so it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I got to ask you: is that the first beer you've chugged out of a trophy?
Beer, maybe yes. In Windsor, I had to do a BioSteel out of the trophy because it was the BioSteel Championship. And I liked the beer in Surrey a little bit more than I did the BioSteel.
Well, that could have went sideways on you because the trophy looked pretty like wide. It could have ended up on your shirt, but I think you managed to like.
I did pretty good. I got a few drifts, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, awesome, good stuff. That's really all I had, Michael. As always, appreciate your time, and like for the listeners out there, what you hear and what you see with Michael is what you get. Really, really a nice kid, and always appreciate your time coming on the podcast, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me on again.
One final note, I will say, your Washington Nationals aren't in the MLB playoffs, so you could cheer for the Blue Jays. Well, you're allowed to cheer for Toronto if you want.
No, I do definitely feel a little bit of an affiliation with them. I like how I felt like every bar, and Jeff and I would comment on this, every time we'd go into a restaurant and there were TVs on, we kind of made a joke. You'd either see Brooke Henderson or the Blue Jays playing. And it felt like it was either one of the two, but they definitely get a lot of support from Canadians, not only in the, Ontario, Toronto region, but I felt like just in Canada in general, definitely a lot of support for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the silly things that I like to do is critique like celebrity first pitches and whatnot. So when you get your PGA Tour breakthrough win and the Nationals come calling for you to throw out the first pitch, I'm assuming you're going to be
Do
able
better.
to get it over the plate, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
definitely, I mean, yeah, I played growing up and
yeah.
could throw a baseball pretty decent. I don't know what the nerves would be like. I'm sure it'd be a little different environment than,
Hmm.
you know, tossing a ball with your buddies in the backyard, but
Yeah.
I would really hope it gets across the plate. Yeah.
Right on. All right, Michael. Again, thanks, and enjoy the rest of your night. Hopefully, the Bills defense comes through for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.